Miss Margaret, a young strawberry farmer, takes care of the seedlings here at Jaick Strawberry Propagation site. She informs us it is safe to call her a babysitter since what she does is so much as babysitting the seedlings.
I'm involved from the beginning when the seedlings come, when they're preparing the splits, and we plant. We get some farmers from around here, some women from around here to help. We prepare the splits and then we plant them using the media. And then from there, I manage them. I make sure that they are well watered. If they need any special care, like maybe there is an infection or maybe there is some ants infestation, I report to the horticulturalist, because I'm not an agronomist myself, so I wouldn't know how to manage them per se, but I have a passion for farming. So once the nursery is ready and everything is set up, I take care of the seedlings and I make sure that they are happy and growing.
Miss Margaret did not start her farming journey taking care of strawberries here at Jaick Strawberry Propagation site. She saw herself as a farmer and wanted to practice strawberry farming, hence putting up a greenhouse. But she had to take a break from her farming after she was affected by soil erosion.
Yeah, this is my greenhouse. I put it up about 2 years ago and I planted my strawberries. As you can see down here, we have some drip lines. I had my strawberries. I had planted about 2,000 seedlings and they were doing very well. But in Georgia we have black cotton soil and the drainage is not so good. So unfortunately my greenhouse flooded, and just when I was starting to get the fruits, when I was harvesting, we were consuming with my family. It was very sweet, very good. But I lost that crop and I felt very bad. I managed to salvage a few seedlings which I have planted out there. They are still struggling to catch up. And now when Benson, when they approached me with the proposal to convert this greenhouse into a nursery instead of a fruit production greenhouse, I accepted because he talked of these raised beds, so I get rid of the problem of flooding. And usually they stay here, the seedlings stay here for only 1 month and they are ready for planting in a farm. So the problem of flooding then won't affect me anymore. So I thought it's a good idea. And then I can be able to take care of the strawberries, and as I manage my own small farm there, then I can have my own fruits also.
Soil erosion is partially caused by rain runoff washing away the topsoil. Runoff refers to the water that flows over the soil surface. It occurs when the soil is saturated or unable to absorb more water. Unfortunately, the aggressive weeds like to take advantage of the wonderful soil conditions that the strawberries thrive under, and if left unattended, will take over your strawberry patch.
Weeding, actually you start like from the word go. Within the first week you see some weeds already starting to come up, so you just pull them out and you just do it along the way, because the media doesn't have weed infestation as such, so it doesn't require a lot of weeding. And we have to actually remove the weeds, because then they are competing for moisture and nutrients from the plant.
Margaret also ensures that the strawberries have enough water and the soil is well hydrated. Strawberries are classified into 2 main categories, short day and day neutral. It is important to know which category of strawberry you're growing so that you can understand its water requirements. Short day strawberries produce fruit most actively during the time of the year when daylight length is shorter. Day neutral strawberries, however, produce fruit year-round except when temperatures become excessively warm. She informs us that the plants generally need more water when they are fruiting.
When it's very hot, you can even water for 3 times a day, in the morning, midday and evening. But when it's not very hot like now, because it's raining, you water once a day. And sometimes you don't even have to water because there's enough humidity in the air, so we just leave them. Because sometimes if you overwater, they can get fungal infections.
Like many farmers, Mr. Benson is faced with a myriad of challenges in his greenhouse, including high relative humidity resulting from crop transpiration, water evaporation from the humid soil or other growing media, and condensation of water vapor on the different greenhouse surfaces.
When there is a lot of heat, we need to water our plants because there is no point in time we want these pit posts to dehydrate. So we even have the thermometers which regulate the amount of heat that is here, and when it exceeds 27 degrees Celsius, that's when we recommend to put a shade net. And a shade net, we put it just in this bar. We put it here to regulate what is the amount of heat here. We were being stricken by a virus, but not in this greenhouse. A virus that affected our strawberry, the seedlings in our nurseries. It killed. And what we say, a virus goes very fast. And in a period of 3 days, we had everything dead. And it was a farmer's order of 3 acres. Now, those are the losses that we incur.
An effective way to decrease the temperatures in an overheated greenhouse is natural ventilation. Open all doors and windows to allow the hot air to escape. According to Mr. Benson, agribusiness is the future and is up to 4 times more effective than other sectors in reducing poverty. Increasingly, the world is counting on agriculture to produce more nutritious food and improve the livelihoods of the booming population, especially for the poor. Different farmers have different stories as to why they choose farming, and they all have different experiences with farming. We were curious to know what exactly motivated Mr. Benson to start farming strawberries and not any other crop.
I love agriculture so much, and I believe in the future of agriculture, in a faith not born of words, but of deeds. So I started with 2 strawberry plants, and I was actually in high school when I got from school, and my neighbor had some strawberry, the Pajaro variety, and I took them. I have a bucket of soil, I incorporated the manure, and I planted 2. And after 2 months, I realized there are some fruits which are dropping, and I had to know what is this that has these sweet fruits. And we transplanted that. I took it off. I took it to the shamba, and I incorporated a lot of manure in the soil. And from those 2 plants, I got my 1,000 seedlings in a period of less than 1 year, because I propagated so well in a whole field.
Agriculture is a sector that provides livelihoods to more than 80% of Kenyans today. Mr. Benson wishes that the government would assist farmers because most of them lack basic knowledge on seeds, pesticides, markets, and other farm inputs that can help them enhance the productivity of their produce.
We have government offices that have extension officers, and extension officers can be posted in a place like here, and they will teach farmers. Since what we do as farmers, we lack knowledge, but when the government chips in and helps farmers with extension services, helps farmers with cheap seedlings, help farmers with cheap fertilizers, and also make sure that the Kenyan product is the first option. When the farmers from Kenya are producing 10 tons of strawberries, you don't go for strawberries from Egypt. You first of all choose the strawberry from Kenya. You support the locals. That is what I can tell the government of Kenya.
As we wrap up the show, Ms. Margaret tells us what she plans to do, as she feels she has learned more on the subject to avoid history repeating itself.
I don't think I'll ever stay without strawberries on my farm, because I love the fruit. For my children, even for my grandchildren. I don't have a big farm myself, and we are growing old, so the young ones will take over. But for now, I can take care of the nursery for them, and then they can plant in the farms out there. But for me, in my small farm here, and maybe in the village, where my father gives me some piece of land, I can plant some fruit trees, some berries, because what I want in future is to have a healthy generation, my grandchildren coming to visit me and having some beautiful, healthy berries to consume.
Mr. Benson gives a piece of advice to farmers thinking of venturing into strawberry farming as a parting shot.
Strawberry farming is real, and it's a real investment. It calls for attention, it calls for care, it calls for love, and it calls for commitment. But when you get in to this farming, you enjoy the beauty in farming, because the soil is so nice. It's always so nice that it calls for a farmer, just tickle me with a hoe and I will smile with the harvest. That's the same way. And the only problem a farmer can have, if he or she follows every management practice that entails strawberry farming, the problem a farmer might have is that he or she didn't invest more in strawberries.
That's all we had for you this week on Fresh and Fruity. Catch us again tomorrow, same time on KTN Farmers TV, as we educate you more on fruit farming.